This video is about one of the things that I do to improve my life. Did you know that I treat myself as a kid every time I go to the supermarket? For context, I've been a psychologist for 8 years and owned my own practice or clinic for 5. I use my knowledge and skill as a psychologist to hack my own life, make me more motivated, and get things done. One of the things that I do might surprise you, or you might find it ridiculous. But if you have a few moments, I'll tell you why, and why it might not be as lame as you think. Every time I go to the store, I do this one thing that helps me with motivation. Motivation means that we have willingness to get started and perform a behavior. It's easy to be motivated to do something that we like. But what do we do with the tasks that we don't like? I've found and used this strategy that helps me beat demotivation, and I think you should hear about it. When we don't like a task, there are many things that we can do that can make our motivation even lower. On the short list of things that can lower our motivation even more are trying to avoid or delay the task, trying to talk to ourselves about it, stressing about it, or overthinking it. So many things can make our motivation decrease. But what can instead increase it? What to do when we have a task that we don't want to do? For me, this used to be going to get groceries at the store. Or, to be honest, I still don't feel like doing it. I still don't feel motivated. I find it boring and tedious, and I don't really like carrying the heavy things home. As shopping for groceries is an essential part in my life, as I, like you, need food and have milk in my coffee, so I need to do it. I've tried delivery services, but I always get something wrong sent to me, and you also have to buy a lot to get it delivered, so then I have to stress about whether I can use it all up before it goes old. So, instead of suffering under this task that I have to perform multiple times weekly, I decided to hack it with psychological knowledge. And what did I do? I started to buy myself a reward every time I went to the store. Just like when we bribe a kid with an ice cream to get them to do something that they don't want to do. In fact, exactly like that. I bribe myself with a reward from the supermarket every time I go. This can be a drink of some sort, like iced coffee, soda, lemonade, flavored sparkling water, or something like that. As food items or snacks are a normal part of my grocery list, so these items don't really feel like rewards to me. But a new fancy drink does. And that drink can be consumed instantly on my way home from the supermarket. So every time I go, I look for a new or old favorite drink that I get to have as my reward. I would not be surprised if you were thinking right now, what is an almost 40-year-old psychologist doing buying herself rewards to go to the supermarket? What kind of infantile behavior is that? Well, I'll tell you. Being efficient means that we get things done fast. Being productive means that we get things done. Being motivated means that we have the willingness to get started and to perform a task. I've long ago realized that the monotone behavior required for me to perform the task of grocery shopping is never one that I'm going to find motivation in, or one that I'll ever sort of feel like doing. I've accepted that I don't hold motivation for this activity. But since I can't skip the activity, I've decided to find a way that I can make it as efficient, productive, and motivating for myself. Having taught myself that I'll get a reward by completing the task, I've made it as such that I'm more interested in doing the task. I'm not motivated by the task, but I'm motivated by the reward. Admitting this to myself and accepting this as my strategy helped me not engage in any of the motivation decreasing activities such as overthinking or stressing about it or delaying it, avoid it, or wasting my time trying to motivate myself without the purpose of ever reaching that goal. I have coupled the activity of going to the store with me expecting a reward. This makes me feel more like I want to do it. By this, I'm looking forward to the reward, and thus this makes me get the task done more efficiently, productively, and with motivation. When we have to do a thing that we don't like, why not make it a bit easier when we know how? So, did I change your mind? Or do you still find it ridiculous? Hopefully you found it, if not helpful, then at least curious or interesting. Thank you so much for watching. This channel is brand new, so if you don't mind, please tell a friend or two about it. Have a nice day, and see you for the next one.